What's up, guys? I am up entirely too early recording this video. It is before 6 a.m., but I was up, felt the creative juices going. Not so much creative. This is a pretty easy video to record. I'm going to continue on with the CD collection. We're still in the B's. I think we're in part like 16. First up is some brutal death metal. I do not own their debut album. I did not enjoy it that much, but I have the three following that. This is Beyond Fatal, starting off with their sophomore album, Sanctuary and Misery. This one was pretty good. This was actually my introduction to Beyond Fatal, and I dug this one quite a bit. They were pretty big in the early 2000s, late 1990s, early 2000s, and that was kind of my death metal heyday at the time. Really dug Beyond Fatal back then. As the CD collection started growing, I went out of my way to go hunt these albums back down. Next up, we have Beyond Fatal with the Demon Eulogy. This band actually disbanded and then kind of got back together in last year, and I think they released like a digital only demo a little earlier this year. I'm hoping maybe there's some full lengths or at least EP physical material on in the works and on the way a little bit later. Demon Eulogy, that one's pretty good as well. That's what kind of sparked off that kind of little side ramble about the new stuff. I think the new one, one of the new tracks was entitled "The Demon Effigy," and that kind of sparked that in my head. And then we have Universal Diabolical. This was the last of the ones that I picked up. Very good stuff here. This possibly rivals the Sanctuary and Misery is my favorite Beyond Fatal releases. The sophomore album has a bit more nostalgia, a bit more personal feel, just because it was my introduction to the band. But very good brutal death metal. I think they're out of Pennsylvania. Could be wrong on that, but good stuff there. Next up, we have some black metal, kind of depressive black metal out of Germany. This is Beyond Helvete with Self Therapy. Pretty good one-man project. I don't think he has that hair anymore. He's got the long flowing locks there on the artwork, but I believe he is bald now, and I can empathize with that. But pretty good stuff there. I do dig this one quite a bit. Depressive black metal has some atmospherics going on as well, but good stuff on that one. Next up is another project out of Germany. This is some gothic metal, not female fronted, just gothic metal. Teeters on that doom area at times. I bought this from Relapse Records several years ago, and this was, I think, originally released on Noise Records, but I picked it up from the Relapse distro. I blind bought a lot of stuff from Relapse just because the price point used to be so low. This is Beyond Surface with Destinations End. This one's pretty good. If you're into doom metal, you're into gothic metal, you might want to give this one a little bit of a. You might want to check this one out. I think some of you guys might like this. It's very melodic. Melodic, but I do dig this one quite a bit. I have not listened to it in quite some time, but I do remember enjoying this one very much, so I may have to pull this one off the shelf a little bit later and revisit some Beyond Surface. Next up, we have Beyond Terror, Beyond Grace with Our Ashes Built Mountains. Death metal, grindcore. This is when the band started teetering into that almost atmospheric, almost like an atmospheric blackened death metal vibe. The groundwork was being laid for that transition on this release. This is the only release that I own from this project. Early on, they were just death metal, grindcore, nonstop, in your face stuff. As I was saying, they've just kind of transitioned to this almost atmospheric black and death. It's pretty interesting. I do enjoy both styles coming from this project, but this was the only album that I actually sought out and picked up. Next up, we have some more melodic death metal. This is Bellium with the Colossal Tragedy. I've had like 3 or 4 copies of this in my possession. I think back when I was getting the metallic media mystery boxes. This used to come in quite a bit in those. I really dig this one. I know it used to be really cheap to pick up. Uh, if it's still available cheap on eBay or somewhere or in distro somewhere you can find it, I recommend picking this one up. It is pretty stellar stuff. If you're especially if you're into mellow death, I think you will appreciate this one. But this is a Bellium. I'll hold that up there if you want to look that up with the Colossal Tragedy. Next up, we got some Doom Death. This album is phenomenal. I got this in that there was a Colony Records kind of CD lot that I got it from Colony Records over in Italy. And this was a part of that. It's in the slipcase. Sometimes it's hard to come out of the slipcase, but this is Bilocate with Sudden Death Syndrome. This is by far my favorite release from Bilocate. I'll show you the back of the slipcase before I try to get this CD out of there. For some reason, it is so hard to get out of that slipcase. And then the inside artwork is still almost identical to the slipcase artwork. I believe this band is in the Mid-East. There are a lot of Death Doom bands that are very solid coming from that geographical area. That is a kind of a hotbed for Death Doom. But this one is very good. I do dig that one quite a bit. After listening to that one, I blind bought the release that followed that. This one is entitled "Summoning the Bygones," and it's not quite up to the level that I enjoyed Sudden Death Syndrome. This one's not bad, but if I feel like when I get to a point where I want to listen to Bilocate, I'm probably going to pull out Sudden Death Syndrome before I pull out Summoning the Bygones. If I'm just going to be completely honest. I think this jewel case is busted. Yeah. I haven't gotten around to changing that one yet. Usually I go through them all before I start recording, but with it being as early as it is this morning, I really just came in and started recording. So, but there's Summoning the Bygones. I do enjoy the artwork on that one though. Next up, this is when I very first started getting the Relapse grab bags. Like if you go way back on this channel, way back, and see the Relapse Records grab bags, this will probably be in one of those. This is some death / sludge metal from Relapse Records. Back when Relapse Records was actually putting out very good grab bags. The ones lately have been kind of hit or miss, but this was back when there was a lot of death metal still coming through Relapse and that type stuff. This is Birds of Prey with Weight of the Wound. There are, I think Birds of Prey has 3 or 4 full lengths. There are only a couple. It still has the old Relapse flyer inside there. There are only a couple albums that I really feel like that are worth picking up. Weight of the Wound is one of those albums. Some of their stuff is just not up to snuff, but this one is pretty solid. I believe they're out of Virginia, if memory is serving me correctly. And then the other is Sulfur and Semen. I think I enjoy Weight of the Wound a little bit more than this one. This one also has the old Relapse promotional thing there on the inside. I apologize if you hear my dog in the background. She's in here in the room with me, and I don't know what she's doing there on the floor, but it doesn't sound healthy, whatever it is. Next up, another album off of Relapse. This one I don't think I got. I think I got it later on in a grab bag, but I didn't seek it out and purchase it initially from a grab bag. This is Black Anvil with Time Insults the Mind. Kind of black and thrash metal. This one's pretty solid. I dug this one upon first listen, with it being their debut. I think it came out 2008, I believe is when I first picked this up. I don't know. I don't see a date on the back, but I'm guessing 2008. I was pretty impressed with this. Obviously, I've listened to a lot more stuff now, especially doing this channel, than I was listening to back in 2008. This one still holds up. I still enjoy it. Do I enjoy it as much as I did when I first listened to it? No, I think some of their later I think the follow up to this is leaps and bounds ahead of this one, if I'm going to be honest. And that one is Triumvirate. This is by far my favorite release from Black Anvil. This is one that I would recommend checking out if you're into Black and Thrash. If you wanted to have an introduction to the band, if you check this one out first, then you'll probably be a little disappointed with all of the rest of the material. All of these relapse things seem to have those them old flyers, relapse flyers in there. But this one is stellar. I enjoy this one quite a bit. And then I have Hell Death from Black Anvil, and this is where the sound of the band kind of started declining, in my opinion. I don't dig this one nearly as much as the first two releases, and I did not pick up. I think they have at least one more album after this one, and I did not seek that one out. I don't have that one on a physical format. I probably won't. I don't know. It's just something in their sound changed at this point, and I like the older material a bit better. Moving on, I have not thought about this album in forever, and this is kind of like why I like doing these videos, because I see stuff that has kind of been neglected on my shelf a little bit. I'm probably going to set this one out for sure and revisit it. This is thrashy death metal, fantastic stuff. Unfortunately, this is the only album that I own from this project. It's probably my favorite release from them. I believe it was their debut full length. This is Black Breath with Heavy Breathing. This is phenomenal stuff. This was released on Southern Lord. It's been out quite some time now. I don't see a date. 2010. Okay. I knew it had been out for quite some time. They have some other material, and I just don't have it. So, honestly, I have not thought about this band in quite some time until I just pulled this off the stack. So, I'm probably going to listen to this today. This is very good. Thrashy death metal, and I now want to listen to it. I want to seek out some of their newer stuff. Yeah. Next up, there's kind of this misconception about this band that I'm going to show, that people think I do not like them. I own every one of their full lengths, so obviously I like them. I do think a lot of their material at times starts to sound very similar between the albums. I think a lot of the albums sound similar. But I do enjoy this band. I don't like people having that misconception that I don't like them, because I do, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't own every one of their releases. This is the Black Dahlia Murder with Unhallowed. Probably my least favorite Black Dahlia Murder release, but I think a lot of people are close into that same boat. This is when the band was first getting going, before they turned into the juggernaut that they are now. They have a cult following unlike any other band that I've seen come up within, my time enjoying death metal that wasn't already out when I started listening to it. This band has gone places. They've been very intelligent about their lineup changes and where they want to go and where they see themselves as a band. They've been very intelligent and diligent about that. Next, I always butcher this album title, Miasma. Yeah, sorry. I know I'll probably auto thumbs down if I mispronounce that, but that's just always the way that I've personally pronounced it. Bear with me. It's just now 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up recording this, so you have to bear with me a little bit. This one's pretty good. I do still pull that one out every once in a while and give it a spin. This next one is when I think like eyebrows really started to raise and people were really starting to take notice of this band. Like, there's something special going on here. This is Nocturnal. This is still a lot of people's favorite release from Black Dahlia Murder, and I can absolutely see why. This was leaps and bounds ahead of the previous two, and as I was saying, this is one that people really just started to take notice, and like, man, this band is going places. There we go. I don't have to spend too much time on these. You've all seen these albums. I'm sure most of you watching this already own most of these. We have Deflorate. This one has been around for me for a while. As you can see, some of these are are not going to be in the best of shape, these Black Dahlias, because they have gotten a ton of playtime. That's why I was saying, don't think that I don't know why there's this misconception that people think I do not like this band, because obviously I do. I mean, you can look at these albums and see that they've been played. They have shelfware and everything else. We have Ritual. I really dug Ritual. There for a while, this was probably my favorite release from them. When this came out, I was all about it. I'm not going to slide the disc out. It's in that little CD wallet thing. I hate that packaging, and I don't want to scratch the CD up anymore. I don't want to scuff it up any more than it's probably already scuffed, just because of the sheer amount of playtime that this album has received, and I don't want to make it any worse. Next up, we have Everblack. This is another really good one. When this came out, it kind of for me felt like they were kind of going back to those Nocturnal feeling of days. I know a lot of people, this is their favorite release too. I'm going to say that about all of these, because you hear so many opinions from different people about this band, and they're so passionate and loud about their opinions about this band. But Everblack, man, when this one came out, this is when like the merch kind of blew up. You were seeing merchandise for this absolutely everywhere, and people were paying astronomical amounts for that merchandise. I know, like the flags, the artwork flags, and that type of stuff were everywhere when this release came out. Pretty solid release too. I did enjoy that one quite a bit. Next up is one that a lot of people were kind of frowned upon when it came out, and this is quite possibly rivals as my favorite release from this project. And I think maybe because it sounds a little bit different, I felt like this was an album where they tried some new things, and it didn't sound like everything else that they were doing, and that's why I appreciated it and I enjoyed it a bit more than some of the other stuff that had been coming out. This is Abysmal, and I heard so many bad things about this album, and I was just kind of scratching my head like, what's going on here? This is a solid release. I still hold this one pretty dear as far as my opinions on Black Dahlia Murder. This may still be my favorite, because like I said, when they kind of branch out and want to do something a little bit different, I am all for that, and I appreciate that. I don't want just cookie cutter same album over and over and over. We have Nightbringers, another solid release. At this point, you pretty much know what you're getting with Black Dahlia Murder. There we have the almost impossible to show on camera fold out digipack. But good stuff there, nonetheless. And then I also have the newest, came out last year, Verminus. I like the kind of feel on this digipack. The fact that the artwork has this textured. It's not going to come off on camera, but the artworks all have almost a similar theme on the majority of the releases with the landscapes and stuff. But I like the fact that the artwork is kind of etched into the actual digipack on this one. I've spent the least amount of time with this one, obviously, since it's only been out for a year. But as far as like absolute spins go, I have not given this one the attention that I've given some of the predecessors. So I do need to rectify that sometime in the future. But pretty good stuff there. Next up is one that I don't remember much about this. It's black metal, I think out of Australia. It's a couple demos on this compilation. The name of the project is entitled Black Death. I think it's a one-man black metal project out of Australia. I don't remember being super fond of this, honestly, when I first listened to it. I don't know. I mean, there's absolutely nothing going on in that artwork, by the way. I guess I should show that. That's the Black Death logo. It doesn't even have the name of the, I think it's the Black Epic, and I don't remember, Elegies of Hatred maybe is the other rehearsal demo on here. Yeah, Elegies of Hatred and the Black Epic are the two demos that are on this release. This has been out a while. I think 2007 maybe is when it came out. I don't know. I don't remember much about that at all, to be honest with you. I I don't think I was super keen on that when I first heard it. Maybe I can revisit it now and appreciate it a little bit more. Next up, this is some melodic black metal out of France, I believe. I got this in a mixed CD lot that I purchased on eBay. I guess it's been a few years ago now, and it was a pretty big CD lot. There were a few albums in there that I really wanted, and then there was some stuff that I'd never heard of before. This is one that I hadn't heard of before, but I was pretty impressed with this. This is Black Dementia with Hyperbian Call, I think is how you pronounce that. This is just an EP. I think it's 3 or 4 tracks, but I dug this quite a bit from what I remember. As you can see, it looked like they had been trying to sell it at a physical shop before putting it on that mixed lot on eBay. They were trying to sell it for $6. I would pay $6 for this. I think it is worth the $6 price tag that they were asking. I think a lot of people probably had never heard of this. It's probably why it was passed up. There's not too many people that just blind buy stuff anymore. So next up, this is black metal out of Canada. I got this in Metalhead box. I'm pretty positive. I remember it just being blistering, fire-driven black metal. This is Black Empire with of Fire and Soul. I think that that name of this album is completely perfect for this. I want to revisit this one because I remember I really enjoyed it when I did that video for Metalhead Box, and it's kind of just been sitting on the shelf for a while now. So I do think this one warrants some more attention. Now that it's been sitting and kind of simmering for a while, I want to revisit this one as well. I say it over and over while I do these videos, but that's why I like doing these just as much as, adding channel content, but I get to revisit some stuff that's been just sitting on the shelf for a while and not been getting the attention that it deserves. Next up, we have some, I'm very lacking on this project. As you will see, I only own 2 of their releases. This is Black Funeral, and this one is Moon of Cherisith. Sorry if I butchered that one, Cherisith. This one's pretty good. Probably one of my favorite releases from the project. That's why I own it. I do want to pick up, I think Vampire is the name of the release. That one I do want in my collection at some point. I do not have it now. I think it was like the debut full length that I want. But this one came out, I think, immediately after that. This one is very stellar as well. And then another that I'm really into is Waters of Weeping. Outside of the Vampire release, these that I just showed were probably my 2 favorite from Black Funeral. Black metal, ambient black metal, pretty scary stuff at times, but I do dig it quite a bit. And that's all for this this video. I will try to get back on the ball with these, but I think this is number 16. Hopefully I'll have number 17 up within the next week or so as well. I'll see you guys soon, I promise. If I can get this to stop recording.